Still on matters of health, we cross over to Afya Center, where Health Principal Secretary Susan Muchache is receiving a donation of equipment and PPEs from the World Health Organization as well as the German government. Let's listen in.
It's good for the public to know. If you could just open for me, I'll be able to show. And to take this opportunity to sincerely, as a government, appreciate the continued technical and material support that we receive from the WHO and the very many friends of Kenya in these ongoing COVID-19 management and mitigation efforts. You are aware that managing COVID is perhaps one of the most expensive ventures that we have seen in a long time. You know that sometimes when a patient is in hospital just for a few days, the bill goes up to $1 million plus. And why? Because gadgets such as these ones must be provided to that patient if he must survive. So getting a donation like this, when you see this should be able to speak to the many lives that will be saved just because a nasal cannula has been found. Early in the pandemic, I will let you know that we were in a deep crisis at one of the private hospitals, Nairobi Hospital. There were patients who were in a very critical condition, and you know what they needed? Just this. But we were lucky. We searched through all the hospitals and were able to get them to save the lives of those particular individuals who at that time needed them. So when we receive these donations, we actually receive life. Now, just turning to look at the pandemic, the socioeconomic impact of the pandemic, it really calls for sustained collaboration between governments and partners. And it's in no doubt that the WHO has continued to play a very, very able role in guiding us as countries across the globe and working with partners such as the German government to ensure that we get the support that we need. Let me just say also, these are not cheap equipment. They are costly. And so they really help us to lift a very heavy load that we have as a government to ensure that all these equipment and all the other that are needed in the case management of a COVID patient are available. Today, the WHO has donated an assorted equipment and PPEs in 4 batches, and this has been ongoing since December 2020 and to date. In fact, so far, WHO alone has been able to give us support worth 110 million shillings. That is a lot of money and support, and they deserve a clap. Today, what we are receiving here is a donation worth 32.1 million from WHO with the support of the European Union and the ECO Fund. As you have heard from the Deputy Ambassador of the Republic of Germany, a lot of support is advanced to us in form of COVID vaccines through the COVAX facility. And Your Excellency, I want to appreciate the fact that you are the second largest donor into the COVAX facility, which has allowed developing countries such as ours and the least developed countries access vaccines at a time when they are scarce and secondly require a lot of investment outlay. So what we have here today is 250,000 surgical masks. Again, always remember, no doctor will treat, no nurse will deal with COVID without that mask. We have the K95 masks available here, 13,000 of them. We have 5,000 face Googles. They are not only needed by the doctors and the nurses. Our lab technicians, when they are sitting there working hard to do the test to confirm whether someone has COVID or not, the one thing that they do is the Google. So they are so important in these response mechanisms that we must do. They've also given us oxygen concentrators, 10 of them. Again, just to put it into context, without an oxygen concentrator for a patient who really needs oxygen, that patient is likely to lose their lives. So these are important interventions. And again, at a time when you are all aware We have many Kenyans who are seeking for oxygen across our many facilities in the country, but as well where government continues to invest heavily.
Live pictures from Afya House, where Principal Secretary Susan Muchache is receiving an assorted batch of equipment of PPEs. Well, she has stated that the donation from the World Health Organization as well as other stakeholders is worth about 32 million shillings. Now, we shall be bringing you a more comprehensive report later in our subsequent bulletin. For now,